Okay, I think I can do a 10 minute, 5 to 10 minute video. If it's less, then this will just be like a very short, brief part two to the part one that I will be uploading very shortly. Um, so I was talking about how I may have like a friend for the program coming up in August because she had messaged or commented under the post that I made that I got into the program for the ABSN again. And she was like, "Oh, she got in too." So just I was like, "Hey, we should definitely connect because I'm not trying to do this program alone." And it's like we were talking about the finances, financial part of the thing, the program. I was like, "Man, it's so expensive." And I'm also just like in the process of trying to get a car too. So, like my significant other and I are trying to see if this weekend we can go around and find a car for me because at the end of the day, I do want to use some of my refunds that I'm going to get a car. So at least I know one, I can, when I apply for work, I can make it my own transportation way there. Because that's the real big issue that I can't apply to a lot of places because, one, transportation is an issue. I don't have my own vehicle anymore. So that was a real big cutoff for me to apply, like Rockville or Bethesda or any locations that are not in my area that I can't get to by public transportation or my mom can't take me. So that's just one of the things. So I know we're gonna probably try Saturday. Primarily, I wanted to do next weekend because I know the refund money will be there by then, or at least I would have something by then. But he was like this weekend would work for him. Maybe he has a drill next weekend. That's why he couldn't do next weekend for the drive around to see. Because I'm stuck between a Honda and a Toyota, and I definitely want to use. I don't want something new or expensive because primarily the car note would be pricey, and I have to work and I have to pay rent, and I gotta still be like out of pocket for some of my programs. So I don't want anything that's gonna be too pricey, and then gas on top of that. Gas is up in the roof right now. It's trying to come down, but it's still up there. I'm waiting on a job that I interviewed that I had last week. So I'm hopefully waiting to hear back from her. She may have went with somebody else. I don't know. It seems like she said by this week she'll let somebody be chosen. I emailed her the references that I had, mainly for my new recent job that I had, because I had their numbers like off the back of my head. I should have just gave it to them there because, but at the end of the day, I emailed her them, and she never confirmed that she got it. So hopefully she did, and hopefully they spoke with her, and hopefully they tell the truth because these were the providers that I actually worked with at GW that I gave her the numbers for because I worked with them hand on hand and one on one basically with all the patients that we had. It was a lot of patients, so I that's why I really thrive in like a fast paced environment. That's why I like want to do ER, nothing else. Now, if something really moves me to not do ER or like deviate from ER in the future, then I will let y'all know. But as of right now, my drive is the ER because I see that one, ER nurses are not a lot because they're really just not a lot of professionals, healthcare professionals in the ER as much as there used to be. And it's a sad thing because a lot of them are leaving the ER for, we had the pandemic and then we have short, staffing. And then on top of that, sometimes the companies don't really value their staff. That's why you see a lot of those people that go on strike, like Kaiser, the nurses went on strike. And it's like, oh, not Kaiser nurses went on strike, but they have to. It's their freedom of speech. It's their right as nurses, basically the front end of staff who patients see. And if they're not being treated fairly, they have a right to say something. And if that's through a protest or a strike, they have a right too. I think that lasted like almost a week for the Kaiser one. Because I was at work when I heard about it. I was like, oh, there go Kaiser. And I always wanted to work with Kaiser because we have a Permanente here by my house, by where I live. And it's like they don't hire us. They hire like clinical assistants. And we're still the same thing. Clinic assistants or clinical assistants, I forgot what they call it. But we're still the same thing because it's just a lower pay. I was like, yeah, no. I don't really look at the pay, but at the end of the day, in this economy, we can't be living like that. Like, you have to be able to, like, visibly pay somebody a minimum wage as a big name organization that like you are, like GW. I give them credit because the location that I worked at, I mean, I think they paid them everywhere the same. They were paying me 25. and I think that was like near the 27 range because I was afloat, and that was based off the years of experience that I had before going there. And so if I had stayed with them more, which I was planning to before I find my another location, another job, but that didn't work out that way. Um, it would, your years of experience really determine the pay the next company would give you. And so that's when I had got this Rockville location that I was supposed to actually start yesterday, but unfortunately I didn't because my people did not like the schedule of the job. So I did not start because I didn't have a way. I had a way to get there, but they would not accommodate the time switching, which they had the position that I needed for that time, 8 to 5, but they didn't just want to give me that one. They wanted the time that I actually interviewed for, and I was truthful and I was like, I think I did the 7:45 one, and could have just moved me over to the 8, so it's fine, I guess. Because there's like one doctor on Monday who only worked till 12, and I was like, what kind of shift is that? You come in at 7:45 and then you leave at 12. You're not gonna. I don't have a car, and it was like, oh, try to do Uber. I looked at Uber. It was gonna be $45, and y'all not gonna reimburse me for that. That's mileage is all they reimburse for. On top of that, I don't have a car, so they're not gonna reimburse me for that because it's not my car. You know what I'm saying? So I'm still looking for work. I've had interviews. Some already fell through. That's fine, I guess. Um, I'm always going to keep looking. I'm always going to apply for things. Like, I'm applying even out of my field. I just applied for a classroom assistant with Kennedy Krieger, but in Beltsville. They have their main location in Baltimore. And it's kind of like my spiel, my counseling degree that I'm doing too. They work with like special needs children and the classrooms. But the only iffiness too, which they don't tell you when you're applying online, is that you have to do a week training in Baltimore. Who going out there with no car? And I'm looking at it like I was looking at it because I was like, okay, well, either way, Baltimore is not close to me. And so I only been to Baltimore once, and my significant other had helped me and my mom get there because I was supposed to potentially have a vocal cord granuloma removal surgery, but thankfully I didn't have to. But I had to go up to Baltimore because that's where I would do my surgery for the pre-op. And then he took us there and he waited and he brought us back home, which was something I'm always grateful for that he didn't have to do. But he stayed because the first time I think he was just going to take us there and then we would have to find our way back, which would not be feasible somehow. But I think I was like, yeah, he had actually, I think something had happened with his job or something. He just ended up taking us and staying with us. And then we left. He came and dropped us back home. So I'm always grateful for that. That means a lot. But that's why I asked him yesterday, can he help me? Because he knows more about cars than I do. Honestly speaking, not good with cars. That's why I'm like, I don't want to go to a dealership by myself because they're going to cheat you. Because my first car that I ever bought by myself was a 2016, I think, Ford Hybrid Focus, or something like that. It was one of those cars, like, you still use gas, but every time I got a light or something, the car would turn off to save the thing. It was my favorite. I liked my car. It was like one of those cars that look like the undercover cops, but really not that. But I was like, I love my Ford. I went to drive time with Laurel. They cheated me because the car had an engine problem and they never told me about that. And Ford actually wanted to fix the car for free because it was their car. And it was under their, I guess, like, okay, this is an issue that they cover by complete holy day, whatever. Lo and behold, I go tell them I need this history. They didn't supposedly have the information. So who did you buy the car from? Anyway, so I went to return it because I'm like, okay, I'm not going to keep this car. There's no point in me having it. The devil's a lie. Because tell me why I was directly at the light to turn. I made it all the way to the dealership. Now, the light had turned red. Like, if the light wasn't red, I would have made it and just dropped off the car and like took my stuff. But I was like, I was about to turn. As I'm ready to turn to go to the thing, the car died. Like, completely. I said, Jesus is Lord. And there was somebody behind me. there was people behind me, and I put my hazard lights on. I got out of the car. I was like, okay, y'all just gonna have to go around me. My car just died. So they all went around. A police officer lady came. She saw that my car had stopped, like dead, obviously, and she had put the little red warning triangles that they put if there's an emergency on the road. And so they put that around my car. She was like, where are you trying to go? I'm like, I'm literally trying to turn left to drop this car off at the dealership. She's like, okay. Is there a way for them to get their, do they have a tow truck to come get it off the street? I called them. They said they don't have a tow truck. What do you mean? I'm never going back there. So I called a tow truck. I paid one something. I think more than $150 to come and get the man to. He said, "Where are you towing?" I said, "Right in there. Turn left, right there." He said, "You could have just told me that. I would have done it for free. Could have gave me my money back." But I was like, you know what? No, you're a tow truck driver. You're doing your job. I paid them, and then they took it inside. Took all my stuff out. I left them the key. I left. I said, "Yep, y'all can keep this car. I don't want to work with y'all again." Because the management was terrible. And for some reason, every time I see their ad, it pisses me off. That was my first car buying experience. And I was like, ever since then, and then the first time I got into an accident, unfortunately, was with that car. And I was, that car had too many issues that they never told me about. So unfortunately, I wasn't even at fault for this incident. But in the end, I had ended up hitting the person in front of me. But I didn't know that the Toyota in front of me had already hit the car in front of her, and that's why it ended up pushing her more into the car that she'd already hit in that time. I'm like, okay. My Geico insurance had already paid the lady off with a check because, you know, what they're worth. Tell me why. Tell me why, y'all, that I got a lawsuit in the mail twice because she filed 2 court dates to go give her 20 grand. 20 grand of what? Because it ain't 20 grand of American dollars, because that's not what it was. It was a black lady, too. I went out to make sure she was all right. Her husband was screaming. She was calm. He was over there. Hey, ho, here. He was fine. There's nothing wrong with him. We both went to the same hospital. I made sure to check out her first. And she turned around and did that. They lived in Baltimore. But I was like, you know what? Let me just leave it in God's hands. So I called my Geico and claim adjuster, insurance guy. He was like, don't worry about going to any of them. I was like, okay, even the one that's scheduled for tomorrow in the district court? He's like, there's another one? I was like, yeah, I got 2. He was like, oh, I see it now. He didn't even know because he didn't know that they had put 2 in 2 courts, like the circuit and the district. I'm like, so he wanted to sue me twice? See, God just pushed y'all away. He was like, yeah, go to class. Because I had actually had an exam the next day. And I was like, I have exams. I can't go miss that because of this thing. He was like, yeah, don't even show up at the courthouse because I'm trying to dismiss this in general. There's no need for them. He was like, yeah. He got them both dismissed. They got their check. They didn't want to they didn't want to cash it. So in the end, I think they did because they had a certain time frame. And they realized that they weren't going to get more money than what they got because they tried to play the games and they failed. So that's why I kind of asked him yesterday, like, hey, can you come with me to, let's go buy the car? Okay. I was really hoping he would have said next weekend. Not this weekend, coming the weekend after, because one, I would have money for that. And then he could have helped me also find something for my dad's birthday, but I would after his birthday. But either way, yeah. But either way, we'll see what happens this weekend. He said this weekend would be what he can do. Because I don't think I'm going to buy anything like this direct this weekend. It's more so just I want to look and see. Because anything used, I beg, it's only, they're still expensive. I'm not sure why. You know, it's used. Why is somebody else's car more expensive than the new one? But that's the plan for this weekend. Just wanted to let y'all know. Kind of share the update for part. This is like the part 2 for my part 1. I will upload these videos very shortly because I have class at 7, so I don't really want to be doing these closer to my time. Like I said, class at 7, 8 p.m. training, and that's it for the rest of the day. And, yeah, homegirl still got this on because I don't know what's going on down here. I'm still, unfortunately, bleeding for the past almost 3.5 weeks now. But check your health, women, because nobody else going to check it for you. You got to check yourself. But like, comment, subscribe, share, do whatever you feel.